What is going on, everybody? Gamers Gun here today with your week 4 college football picks, where we pick every single game every single week. And last week, yet again, we went 3-2. We need to get off this 3-2 train. So far, we've been 3-2, 3-2, 3-2. We need to get off of it, and we're gonna do that here today. We're gonna get over here into my updated top 25. As you see, USF, their loss against Miami did slide them down. Miami is up to 4 now. Georgia beating Tennessee only knocked Tennessee down one peg. I think Tennessee probably should have won that game. They let Georgia get it. Georgia ultimately is going to move up because of it. As you see, there's some notable teams out. Clemson out after a very, in my opinion, upsetting loss. So they now have 2 losses on their season. Notre Dame out. I think Notre Dame will be back in here soon. But simply, they have 0 wins. I can't have them in my top 25. We can't rank off of like preseason expectations with these teams. Clemson and Notre Dame will probably bounce back at some point. But right now, this is my updated top 25. I've kind of not super happy of where Missouri is, but I don't know where I would move Missouri into other than that. But I do really like this Missouri team. We're going to be talking about them here today. But this is just a general overview of my current top 25. As you see, Vandy and Georgia Tech did make leaps all the way into both of them into the top 16. Anyways, let's get on with the quick picks here today. We're going to start off on Thursday. Rice going up against Charlotte. I'm going to be honest, this game doesn't really excite me. I'm going with Charlotte to win 21-17. Could go either way. I honestly don't really care about this game. It has no implications whatsoever to anybody. Next, we get to Friday. Friday, we are going to be seeing Tulsa go up against Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State looked really, really bad last time we seen them. I think they're going to kind of continue that train. Wasn't super impressed with their quarterback. We're going 24-13 in the favor of Tulsa. Iowa versus Rutgers, a Big Ten matchup. We got Iowa winning a low-scoring 17-7 game. And then we get into the Saturday games. We'll go with a few of them, and then we will go into our first future game of the week. And we are starting it off on Saturday, North Texas versus Army. How about North Texas coming off a big win? They're going to do it again, 35-21 against Army. South Carolina State going up against USF. We talked about USF already today. USF is going to win 42-3. Syracuse going up against Clemson. Clemson needs a bounce back, 38-21 in their favor. Next, we get to UNLV versus Miami, Ohio. UNLV still lingering on the bubble for me. UNLV gets it done, 35-24. Maryland versus Wisconsin. Maryland, another team that's been lingering on the bubble. Wisconsin, not so much. I'm going Maryland to win 28-17. SMU versus TCU. Debated on making this a featured game. Couldn't do it. But 42-41 in the favor of the Mustangs. Next, we get Bowling Green going up against Louisville, a Louisville team that I have, once again, just out on the outs. Louisville's winning that one 28-13. We get to Arkansas versus Memphis. I like Memphis, but I'm going Arkansas 21-17. Wofford versus Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech just fired their coach, but ultimately Wofford just not a great team. So we're going to go with Virginia Tech to win 35-7. Then we are going to get back over here, and we're going to talk about our first feature game of the week. Now, the line right now is 3.5 in the favor of Utah. People expect Utah to win. This is a home game for Utah, and I am not sure why. Yes, Utah has looked good. Yes, I've moved them into my top 25. Matter of fact, let's go back here and look at this. This is a 14 versus 20 for me, and let me pull up the actual AP poll that came out yesterday. AP poll. I gotta get it up here on Instagram real quick. Give me a moment. But here is the updated AP poll. That's week 3. We need week 4. There we go. Week 4. They have Texas Tech at 17, Utah at 16. Either way, this is a top 20 matchup on all aspects. But yeah, I really think Texas Tech is a dark horse team here, and I don't mean that just to win this game. I think Texas Tech, at their best, could be a playoff team this year. I think they could win the Big 12. Um, I really like this Texas Tech team and what I've seen out of them. They're high scoring. Utah can score some, but I think if Utah wins this game, it's going to need to be a slugfest. It's going to need to be maybe a 24-21 type of game here. I think this game gets a little bit higher than that. I think that favors Texas Tech. I'm going Texas Tech to get 35, Utah to get 28. I think Utah will be able to make it close, respectable. I just think ultimately this Texas Tech offense is something I really, really like. Eakin, one of their receivers, I'm a big fan on. Their quarterback has been really good, and his name is, for some reason, escaping my mind. Let me give him his proper shout out here. Texas Tech football. His name is Morton, Bayron Morton. He's coming off a good game. 11 touchdowns, 1 interception this season. Like I said, Coy Eakin having a good season. Virgil, Carter, a lot of talent there in that receiver room and guys that can be players for them. Um, I like them to win this game. I think it's going to be high scoring. Like I said, 35-28. I think a lower scoring game favors Utah. Ultimately, I'm going to rock with Texas Tech to pull off the road upset here in week 4. Next, let's get back into more quick picks. We got UAB going up against Tennessee. Tennessee, like I said, didn't play bad. I was curious how they would play. They didn't play bad, but we're going to go Tennessee 45-10 in that one. They might not even give up points. I'm just being generous. I try to be generous to these teams, but most of them aren't going to score. CMU will be hosting Wagner, Central Michigan. I got Central Michigan winning that one 24-7. Oregon State versus Oregon. I was nice to the foes up north. I'm wearing my Oregon shirt today. Give me Oregon. And a big one. We're going to go Oregon to win that one 49-10. I was a little nice to them. Could be worse than that. Next, we got Gardner-Webb going up against Ohio. We got Ohio winning 28-3. They gave Ohio State a little bit of fits early on. UNC versus UCF, two teams that are just confusingly in the middle. UCF wins that one 27-24. It's a coin flip there. JMU going up against Liberty. A nice little like group of 5 matchup, right? JMU wins that one 34-27. Should be a good game. Ball State going up against UConn. I got UConn winning 28-13. Troy versus Buffalo. My Buffalo guys just came up and barely won last week. I'm going to have them do it again against Troy. Troy, a low-scoring, a team that's going to play in low-scoring games, 17-10 in the favor of Buffalo. Next, let's get into our next quick pick game of the week. This game is 6.5-point favorites towards Oklahoma, and it's kind of around that line for me. Jackson Arnold playing against his former team in Oklahoma. Kind of one of those games where it could be like hey, you guys made a mistake letting me walk. You made a mistake by not investing more in me. I like Jackson Arnold. I do. I like this Auburn team, like I said. If we go back here, I have Auburn at 24. I have Oklahoma at 12. This is a top 25 matchup. At least for me, AP poll says Auburn is 22 and Oklahoma is 11. So they're a little bit higher on both teams than me. But ultimately, this is a 6.5-point favorite towards Oklahoma. This is a game being played in Oklahoma. It's a game that I think completely favors Oklahoma. Auburn, like I said, I have as a top 25 team. I do think they're on the lower end of that top 25, though. And I think they are definitely a team that kind of benefits from playing some of those teams that are respected. Like, they beat Baylor. They had a respectable win there that made me like, you know what? And then Baylor beat SMU, so that obviously helped Auburn's case some more. I think they're a team that's kind of just going to be fighting to stay in that top 25 towards the back end. It's a team I like, not a team that I necessarily think can be elite. Oklahoma, on the other hand, John Mateer hasn't even really got going, and this team has been pretty good. They beat Michigan. They've played one of these tough games. So with Auburn, with Baylor. But I think really this game's going to come down to, I just think that Oklahoma has the better talent on the field. I think it's a home game that definitely favors them. I think Auburn's going to keep it close, but when push comes to shove, I got to pick the Sooners to win this one. I'm going to go 28-24 for Oklahoma to win it in, where are they from? Norman? In Norman. But we're gonna rock with Oklahoma. We're gonna rock with Oklahoma in that one. Next, we're gonna get to Michigan versus Nebraska. I think Josh Pate's going to this game, but Michigan 28, Nebraska 17 should be a good one for Michigan. Louisiana versus EMU, Eastern Michigan. I got Louisiana winning 21-17. Kent State going up against Florida State. Florida State wins that one 56-7. Purdue going to Notre Dame. Purdue hung in there with USC for a while. I think they'll do the same. 31-14 in the favor of Notre Dame. Maybe they bounce back into the top 25. Toledo versus Western Michigan. I got Toledo winning that one 24-21. North Carolina State against Duke. I like NC State. 28-20 to win that one. Let's go Wolfpack. Next, we go to Northern Illinois going up against Mississippi State. Mississippi State, watch out. NIU has the potential to play in these really low-scoring games against good teams. 17-7 in the favor of Mississippi State. But be careful, Mississippi State. Be careful. Temple going up against Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech, shout out to them with a big win this week. 38-10 in the favor of Georgia Tech. Idaho going up against San Jose State. We are going to go with San Jose State to pull that one out 21-17. And then to wrap it up before we go to another feature game, we're going to go Arkansas State beating Kennesaw State 28-10. All right, so now we are getting into Tulane versus Ole Miss. I think this one is going to be a good one. Tulane, 12.5-point underdogs. 12.5. You didn't hear me stutter. 12.5-point underdogs. This is a team that I've been kind of eyeballing as maybe, just maybe, I'm going to rank them at one of these weeks. And I haven't yet. And that's because you beat Northwestern, you beat South Alabama. Duke kind of made it a little bit better. But you won your first two games. Those are games I expect you to win if you're Tulane and potentially fighting for one of those at-large spots, right? Duke, a team I respect. I respect their defensive line. You beat them. Ole Miss is a test. If they can beat Ole Miss, they're a ranked team to me. They are just on the outs. They just didn't have as impressive of a resume as some of the other teams in here and haven't done it as dominantly as some of the teams in here. But Tulane is pretty close to being in there. If they beat Ole Miss, they're in. They're in my top 25. And I think 12.5 doesn't represent this game fully because you look at it, Austin Simmons might not play because he is still hurt. We'll see. I mean, he did play like a very small amount, so you assume he's ready. But if not, that opens the door for Tulane. Retzloff has been really, really good for Tulane, even if Austin Simmons plays. I'm going to be honest. I have not seen Austin Simmons be this elite guy. They beat Kentucky by 7 in a game they let Kentucky score 23. And Kentucky, like, notoriously is not a great offense, right? Kentucky got 24 against Toledo. And then Eastern Michigan, it's just a wash. They're not very good. But either way, they scored one less than they did against Toledo against Ole Miss. Ole Miss, I think, is kind of just asking for an upset. They let Arkansas play within 6. Arkansas, if they wanted to, could have got a game winner and walked it off. I think this Ole Miss team is susceptible to an upset. I haven't been super impressed. They're winning games. They're doing what they need to do. But when we go back here, you can see, like, I think, I don't remember where I had them to start the season, but I don't think it was at 22, right? I think they have slid down quite a bit. Let me pull up where I had this team. This team to start the year for me, Ole Miss, was, matter of fact, they actually were 22. They were 22. They moved up to 21 in after week 1, but they moved right back down to 22. This Ole Miss team, not a team that I'm particularly scared of, a team that has kind of shown some flaws. You throw in potentially needing you're not your starting QB, or you're going into it with your starting QB still banged up. This is a game where Tulane could walk in. Yes, they're the underdogs, but they could walk in to Ole Miss and win this game. I fully believe in it. Um, Ole Miss, watch out. Tulane is a team that can pull it off. And matter of fact, this is going to be probably one of the more wild takes of the week, because obviously we have for the featured games, Oklahoma and Texas Tech. They're not wild, but 12.5-point underdogs here for Tulane. I'm going Tulane to win at 28-27. I think Tulane will come out on top. Ole Miss, I think they've struggled so far this year to get things done. And you throw that and a capable Tulane team in the mix, Tulane will be ranked next week. Ole Miss, they're going to be sliding outside of my top 25, because this is a team that I think it's been they've had, 3 games so far? And there's still a lot of questions for me about this Ole Miss team. Defensively, haven't been super impressed. Offensively, haven't been super impressed. Kind of just let teams hang around. Tulane's a team that I think is a level probably greater than Arkansas. If Arkansas can hang in 6, why can't Tulane hang within 12, right? I think Tulane might be the big upset of the week. Watch out for it. I'm picking Tulane to win on the road, 28-27. Now let's get back into more quick picks. We got Delaware going up against FIU. Delaware, shout out to them. They're going to win 35-21. West Virginia versus Kansas. I think it'll be tight, but Kansas, a team that I really, really like, 24-21 in their favor. Duquesne going up against Akron. Akron should win 21-10. Tennessee Martin going up against Missouri State. Missouri State coming off a not so bad performance, but a respectable performance. I got them winning that one 24-21. Nevada going up against Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky's going to win that one 21-17. Coastal Carolina going up against South Alabama. South Alabama wins 31-17. Murray State going up against Jackson State. Jackson State's going to win that one 28-13. Then we got Maine going up against Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern winning 21-7. Boise State going up against Air Force. Boise State going to win that game 38-17. Marshall going up against Middle Tennessee. Marshall easily wins that one 28-17. Now we are going to go into another feature game, and then we're going to go all the way until the end, until we get to our last feature game of the week, which, by the way, is South Carolina versus Mizzou. But this is another top 25 matchup here, and this is Illinois going up against Indiana. I'm just going to go this way because it's easier. Illinois, 9. Indiana, 21 in my poll. In the AP poll this week, though, Indiana, 19. Illinois, 9. So we kind of have the same opinions on both these teams about. Either way, this is a game that on the road, Illinois is 3.5-point underdogs. I look at Indiana and kind of their out-of-conference schedule so far this year. Indiana, and obviously we kind of know it's notorious for they don't play anybody. They haven't played anybody the last 2 seasons, nor will they. Old Dominion being their best opponent so far. Old Dominion did pick up the Virginia Tech win, I suppose, but Old Dominion, you're a level above them when you are in the Big Ten. Indiana, I got to give them credit, right? They're running up the scores against Kennesaw, against Indiana State, but you're not going to be able to do it just like that against Illinois. Illinois is going to give you more pushback defensively. They're going to make it gritty. They're going to hit you hard. They're going to make it a tough game. The question then becomes, how does Illinois' offense perform, right? We saw at times in that Duke game, Illinois' offense struggling with the pass rush. We saw at times their defensive line not creating enough pressure. This is a game that you have to answer those questions if you're Illinois, right? You bounce back from the Duke game with a 38-0 win over Western Michigan, but ultimately it is Western Michigan. you opened up yourself for some questions with how that Duke game went. Now, the end score was very flattering, 45-19, right? Looks like you dominated the game. But it took the second half to kind of create that separation. First half, they were hanging in there. Indiana's a team that maybe could be like Duke here in hanging in there. How does Illinois handle one of those close games? I think they'll handle it well. I really liked what I saw in that Duke game in the second half, but right, there was questions that arose. It's up to Bielema to kind of fill the voids in those questions and answer them. But this is a game here on the road I think sets up real nicely for Illinois to potentially have a big game next week against USC at home. This is a must-win game for both teams, if you ask me. Illinois, obviously, because you have playoff aspirations. Same thing at Indiana. But you look at Indiana, their upcoming schedule. They play Iowa next week, which isn't very winnable. I mean, it's winnable, but it's a tough game, tough defense. Then you play Oregon, which is really tough. You have a little bit of a break. You do run into Michigan State, Maryland. They could pull off some wins. UCLA, not too worried. Penn State, really, really tough. Wisconsin, kind of easier this year. Purdue, giving some teams some trouble this year. You never know. Indiana, this is kind of make or break for them, if you ask me, because there's a lot of potential losses coming up. And you look at Illinois, you can kind of say the same thing. It could really turn around real quickly. This could be the number 9 team this week and unranked in a couple weeks. Because you got Indiana, USC, Purdue you should win, Ohio State, Washington. You play Maryland. Those are games that the teams aren't bad. They can, you don't come in and steamroll them, right? This is a crucial game. This is kind of the game where, for both of these teams, I think will tell you the direction to expect these teams to go. One team, I think, will be competing for a playoff spot. The other team will be competing to stay maybe around like 8-4. I'm going to say Illinois wins this one. I've been rocking with this Illinois team, man. Obviously, it's my team. Grew up an Illinois fan. Obviously, it's no secret. I grew up an Illinois fan and went to college in Oregon. So those are my two teams, right? But for Illinois, something feels different this year. Luke Altmaier looks great. Aiden Lawfrey's hurt, but you have a lot of running back talent with Lawfrey, Fegan, Khalil Valentine, who did go down in the game, but I think he'll be back. Hank Beatty, who's on your screen right now, has been a kind of a shining star so far this season. We thought Hudson Clement would be the guy, but so far it's been Hank Beatty. I really like Justin Bowick. You saw some other guys, Colin Dixon involved. Very talented Illinois team. Very, very talented Illinois team. The problem is, it's Illinois, and we always have back in the back of our head as an Illinois fan that our football teams haven't been particularly great in at least my lifetime. We've had some years here and there, but it's never really all worked out. And this is going to be 2 years in a row of really, really high-level football. So, this is a big game. It's a big game at Indiana, but I'm taking Illinois to win 27-21. I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be gritty. I think it's going to be down to the wire. But ultimately, I'm going to rock with Illinois to pull it out. Give me the Illini. Give me Luke Altmaier. I want all the smoke this week for Indiana. We are coming to win in Bloomington. Next, we go to more quick picks. We got BYU versus ECU, Eastern Carolina. Obviously, I like BYU this year, 35-21 BYU. Stanford versus Virginia. Not a very good game here, but Virginia wins 28-14. Washington versus Washington State. If North Texas can do something like they did to Washington State, Washington should have no problem. I'm going to be a little bit more respectful than the North Texas line, but Washington 42 to Washington State's 10. Southern Mississippi going up against Louisiana Tech. I got Southern Mississippi winning a close 31-28. Arizona State going up against Baylor. Close game, almost made it a feature game, but Baylor 31-28. Give me Baylor to win it. Georgia State versus Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt wins that one 42-10. Southeast Louisiana going up against LSU. LSU wins 56-0. Sorry, couldn't give them points. Sam Houston versus Texas. Texas wins 42-7. McNeese going up against Utah State. Utah State wins that one 28-10. Nicholls State, little kind of tough defense to be honest, versus Texas State. I think it's going to be a shockingly close game for some people. But Texas State will win, but it's going to be 14-7. Louisiana Monroe going up against UTEP. I think it's going to be close. UTEP wins that one 27-24. UTSA going up against Colorado State. Haven't been impressed with Colorado State. UTSA wins that one 28-21. Wyoming going up against Colorado. Colorado wins that one 24-10. There's some QB drama to be seen in Colorado as well. California going up against SDSU. California, I am so close to ranking them, man. I really want to. Just haven't seen exactly what I'm hoping for just yet. But Cal wins that one 28-17. Michigan State going up against USC. USC wins 38-17. I'm waiting for USC, man. I'm waiting for them too. Against Michigan State, they might be able to do enough to convince me, but they've been just on the outside looking in. Haven't played enough competitive games just to know. Fresno State versus Hawaii. I'm going Hawaii to win that one 17-14. Florida versus Miami. Going to be close, but Miami's going to win that one 21-14. Potential upset spot. Florida can definitely hang with them. Potential upset spot, though. Didn't want to do Miami, and I've been doing Florida the last few weeks as well. So we're going to go into our last quick pick game of the, feature pick game of the week. We got to show Missouri some love. We got to show Bo Pribula some love. We got to show this Missouri team some love. They should be higher than my ranking here is 23. I just can't bring them over some of these other teams. But don't mistake it. I think there's a pretty sizable gap between Missouri and Auburn. I'd take Missouri to beat Auburn 9 times out of 10 this season. I really like this Missouri team. The way Bo Pribula has been playing football has been absolutely amazing. South Carolina, as you see, still 16th. Now they did slide down. You might be like, well, they kind of got blown out by Vanderbilt. Yeah, that's why Vanderbilt's ahead of them, but also Lenore Sellers got hurt, so there is some context there to be seen in that game. I didn't move him down too much because of Lenore Sellers' injury, and I think if Lenore Sellers plays, this is a completely different kind of vibe and game that you would have had against Vanderbilt. But ultimately, you lost. Now, Lenore Sellers in that game, let's see how many. Lenore's. Okay, I just gotta look up South Carolina because apparently I cannot spell Lenore Sellers' name correctly. But anyways, Lenore Sellers in this game threw 7 passes. They're back up through 27. He didn't play. 3 rushes, -3 yards. He didn't play. And the guy that came in threw an interception, but so did Lenore Sellers, to be fair. Vandy obviously won the game, but I think it's a lot better if Lenore Sellers plays the full game. I couldn't move him down too far. This Missouri game is dependent on Lenore Sellers. It is dependent on if Lenore Sellers can play. And ultimately, I don't know because it's a concussion. It's kind of hard to predict what a concussion when you return from a concussion. Some people return the next week. Some people take 3 or 4 weeks to recover. And it's unfortunate, but we got to pick this game. And I'm going to be picking it based off of the opinion and the thought that it's going to be on the lower end, maybe. And we're going off of kind of the hopeful, like Lenore Sellers will be able to play. If Lenore Sellers can play, I think South Carolina wins. If not, it's an open ball game for Missouri. But I'm still rocking with South Carolina to win this one. It's going to be tough. It's going to be gritty. Missouri can give you a fight. They are a team to watch out for. They are 13.5-point favorites. I think that's kind of disrespectful to South Carolina with kind of the talent they have around that team. Yes, I know they have that big Vandy loss, but you also get a week with practice of the QB2 with the ones. Even if Lenore's can't go, and if Lenore's can go, this 13.5 line is absolutely not going to happen. It's going to be tough. It's going to be close. I'm going South Carolina to win. I don't love saying that, but I'm going South Carolina to win 24-21. But if Missouri wins, man, if Missouri wins, I mean, yes, if Lenore Seller plays and Missouri wins, I expect to see Missouri in my top 15. Like, I really like this Missouri team. I really do. I just haven't had a spot for them to move up. I can't justify moving them up as much as I moved some other teams up, like Vandy. I mean, I didn't have Vandy in, but then they had a big win. I'm like, yeah, I gotta give them and it looked easy for Vandy too. I want to be higher on this Missouri team. I really do. It's a team that if I'm you, I'm buying stock into, right? Like, if you have buddies that are like trying to, yeah, you got to pick a team, and if they make the playoffs, then you win $5, right? I'm picking Missouri. I'm picking Missouri. That's what I'm doing because this is a really really talented football team. It's under the radar. It's a team that not many people are talking about just yet. You could be in early here with Missouri though. So Missouri, team that I really really like this year. I think they are going to be really really good. They're going to get South Carolina fit, but I'm taking South Carolina to win it. Taking South Carolina to win it. And here's a quick reminder of my top 25. A lot of these teams will be playing this week. Georgia Tech, Vandy, obviously the two big new people in the top 25 for me. Kept USF around, even though the Miami loss was kind of bad, but they do have a better resume than a lot of the people behind them. But yeah, this is so far what I am seeing. Now, I know some people, the AP poll moved Oregon down to 6. Oregon hasn't looked like they've struggled at any point this season. They're at 2 for me. There's been teams, Georgia, that look like they struggled against Austin Peay. There's been teams, Penn State, that look like they struggled against others. Oregon should be higher. Should be higher. But anyways, we'll know in a few weeks when they do get the opportunity to play against Penn State. That will be one of the bigger games of the year. It should be a fun week of college football. Should be another fun week of college football. Anyways, I am going to get on out of here. Thank you all for watching. I will see you all next time. If you have not already, make sure you like and subscribe. And let me know down below who you think will be the biggest underdog victory of the week. Give me something crazy. Give me South Carolina State winning. Give me something crazy that you actually believe. Like last week, if you would have said Arkansas State beating Iowa State, I'd been like, that's crazy. But then I watched the game, I thought it might have happened. Iowa State, I'm going to tell you right now. Iowa State at 11, was very close to not shifting them up. But they got the job done. I gave it as, hey, Iowa State, this is kind of just one of those games that you're not going to show up fully motivated to. I gave them the benefit of the doubt, but Iowa State, you have another struggle week. You're gonna slide. You're gonna slide in my poll, and obviously my poll is very prestigious, right? Very very prestigious. Put a lot of work into it. I actually do put a lot of work into it, but it's not very prestigious. But anyways, thank you for watching. And let me know down below who you think the biggest underdog upset of the week will be. Anyways, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.